This is RLCraft, Minecraft's hardest mod pack. Everything in this world wants to kill you. My goal is to survive 100 days, and in those 100 days, I want to take down a few dragons, defeat a giant sea serpent, and make a small starter base. I think this is about attempt number 50. I'm already nauseous. That thing, what is this? What just hit me? It was like a bird looking thing. And just like that, my adventure started. The first thing I found was this little structure that I made my way up toward and couldn't find anything. Then this happened. What is that? What is that thing? Dude, it's got range attacks too. Is that a village? I might actually be able to get ready. This structure was fully protected, so it was a great place to get started. I came inside, grabbed a bunch of leather armor, wooden sword, bows, and arrows. In this structure, I managed to pick up something called a charged emerald, a bunch of food, this crafting table, and some bandages. I met one of these creatures called nymphs, which regenerate all your injuries. Then I started working on making stone tools when this happened. Whoa, there's two? Let's go, Golem. I then went to sleep so I didn't have to fight any more mobs. Survived day one, that's actually pretty decent. I'm gonna put 1 point in agility so I can use my bow. So day 2 started with a bunch more looting where I got some buckets and I got this really cool infinity book. Then when I was trading with these villagers, I noticed there was a giant structure right in front of me, but before that, I mined a ton of coal to get some levels. I used all my levels to get to defense level 4 and equipped chainmail armor instead. Then after I killed some sheep for wool, I decided to make my way over to this tower to see what was going on. Since these spawners were right outside, I was able to reach these guys. I even managed to kill a few wither skeletons and got a bunch of really good levels. Day 3, I cleared my inventory because I wanted to explore a little more. Then I made a furnace so I can start smelting a bunch of potatoes for levels. I also made bandages and leveled up my defense all the way to level 7 and my attack to level 2. I had no idea what to expect in this tower. I first fought these crazy enchanted vindicators, and then after killing this wither skeleton, I made another one which was blighted. I'm pretty sure at this point these guys are one shot to me, but I stayed my distance and I was able to take these guys out. Okay, this is what happens when you're really cocky. I decided to run inside to grab all of my XP when a skeleton spawned. At this point, skeletons are basically 2 shots, so I'm so glad that the last arrow missed. With just a few mobs, I was able to get 21 levels, and I used all those levels to put into defense and attack and got them both to level 8. Because I was pretty confident still, I went to the back of the structure to break another spawner and check out these 2 chests. I made sure to grab every single thing in these chests and then run home before it became nighttime, where I leveled my defense and mining up. Day 4, I went right back to the tower and found a spot where the vindicators couldn't reach me, so I just grinded a bunch of levels. So far, things are going pretty good. I was able to make my way all the way inside and even pick up a bunch of the emerald and levels. Then this happened. Whoa, Banshee. God, you guys are so annoying. Gotcha. Okay, noted. Get iron armor first before exploring a little bit more. These guys are still super dangerous. I then got my agility to level 4 and I was able to dodge. This is when I realized what the charged emerald was for. I accidentally clicked on it with the villager and it turned into a witch. After putting the fire out, I went back upstairs to take out this witch when it attacked me one last time. Oh, the place is still on fire. It's okay, well I need to find a new place anyway. While the village was burning down, I made sure to grab a bunch of my stuff and just decided to go away. But I realized now that I forgot my infinity book. I stumbled on towards this battle tower, and when I was breaking these spawners, I got attacked by 2 reapers. If that wasn't bad enough, one of these guys were blighted, so I spent the rest of this time just running away until I got away from them. Then I went right back to this battle tower to see if I could get some quick XP, but when I went inside to collect my loot, I got hit all the way down to the next floor. At this point, I thought I was completely dead, but I managed to box myself in and slowly dig out behind me. Since it was pitch dark, I had to be really quick, otherwise it said something was gonna eat me. Day 6 to day 7, after I fully healed, it was time to get out of there, but along the way, I got attacked by this gigantic worm. I managed to escape it, then while I was moving along, I found this little shack that I was gonna live in for a few days. This place had its own mine, so I went down and found this gigantic lava pool. I even used my water to make sure it was safe on the way down. But then I got hit by a skeleton, so I decided to cover it up and move somewhere else to go mining. That was definitely the right choice since I found a giant stash of iron. I leveled up my mining and took every single piece of iron in this cave. While I was traveling, I already got an enchanted iron helmet, so I just made the rest of my iron armor and managed to put 2 more points into my defense. Day 8 to 9, I was just navigating around this desert when I found this gigantic Spartan structure. Right now, I'm not even gonna try and look inside. I also found this little house where I had to sit in water because hyperthermia was absolutely ruining me. I then found this desert village where I took all their birch wood because that could be turned into paper. I also activated the waystone and fought this Joust Alpha. Right after that, I turned the birch wood into paper, then made some lockpicks to check out this blacksmith chest. This chest was actually really nice. I managed to get my first diamond and a bunch of obsidian. Right after that, I found another chest with even more diamonds. This village also had this underground battle tower where I just got a bunch of quick levels, then I made my way back up to this tower to grab some more arrows. Day 10, this is when things are about to get serious. I watched a bunch of videos on how to survive, and the first thing I made was an iron spear. Then I went out looking for a plains biome. The first plains biome I found was conquered by a dragon, so I had to be really careful. I entered this giant structure to grab an enchanted golden apple and a regular golden apple, and then I noticed the dragon. Since this guy was stuck on the doorway, I was able to get some few hits in with my bow, but once it spawned cinders, it was time to get out of there. I still wasn't fully done looting the village, so I decided to go to this armory real quick, grab some arrows, and then go. While I was sneaking out, I noticed there was another monster right next to me, a giant sea serpent. But then that night, I was able to grab some leather that I'd need for way later, and then I also found this little shack. Day 11 to 12, I was still in search for a plains biome, and along my travels, I upgraded my defense one more, found a desert village where I grabbed some paper, activated the waystone, and then made some lockpicks so that I could loot this chest. But this chest was really bad. It was just some wood. I then traveled across this ocean to find a plains biome where there was a bunch of macas, and these guys drop a bunch of leather. But across the horizon, I noticed there was a dragon here too. But I'll worry about that later. Right now, I made a quiver so I can clear up my inventory space and store my arrows in there. After that, I made a canteen, some charcoal filters, and then upgraded that canteen into an iron canteen. I then made a sleeping bag, and then on day 13, I was able to make a tool belt, which this thing actually gave me an extra heart. Then I went around searching this area where I found another one of those gigantic towers. I began by breaking these spawners to grab a bunch of XP, and then I found the Vindicator area again, but this area was a lot hotter, so I had to place water down and just hit him from below. I managed to kill a bunch of Vindicators and grab some really good XP, but then a blood moon happened. I had to grab whatever I could and get back home before all the mobs started spawning. But I was way too late. I had to eat my enchanted golden apple because there were so many mobs and I had no idea if something was gonna grab me. Luckily, I made it home and I was able to box myself in. The rest of this night, I just made little holes that I was able to use to fight some of these mobs and grab some XP. There were so many mobs around me. This was really a terrifying night, but I still managed to get a bunch of XP and get my defense to level 15. Day 14, one of these zombies dropped a backpack, something that I would actually really need, but I had no idea how to equip it, so I accidentally broke it. After messing around, I found out how to equip it, but it turns out it just took my chestplate slot, but I needed my chestplate more than anything. After that, I just grinded a bunch of these Vindicators because I was really close to level 16 on defense, and once I get to level 16, I can actually make a diamond chestplate. After all of that, I managed to get a bunch of XP and level my defense up to 16 and make a diamond chestplate. Day 15 to 16, I saw some gold on top of this hill and I'd need gold way later to make some baubles. Then I found another desert village where of course I grabbed even more birch wood to turn into paper. I also lockpicked these little chests and found nothing really good. I then made a bunch more bandages, unlocked this waystone, and found another taiga village. In this village, I leveled up my farming enough to collect sugar canes and realized I could finally trade in my paper. After trading a bunch of stuff, this happened. Okay, stay far away. I knew it. You take more damage from a pickaxe? You do. Day 17 to 18, every single biome I've been in has been burning, and I finally found a little area that I could actually chill in. I mined a ton of stone and mined whatever other structure I could to actually make this place feel like a home. And because it was stone, it wouldn't burn down. It doesn't look like much, but as long as it keeps me away from the mobs, I was fully happy. I started chopping down even more and more trees to grab a bunch of wood, light up these areas, and make a ton of chests. After spending the whole day decorating the inside, I also made a little sugarcane farm. Day 19, I got my gathering up to level 2, made some shears, and started collecting a bunch of wool. I was running really low on bandages, so I just spent all the wool making a ton of them. Then for some quick XP, I just made a 9x9 wheat farm right next to the sugarcane farm. Day 20, I noticed there was a structure that was floating in water, so I took a bunch of blocks and went over to see what was in there. And inside there was a bunch of wheat that I obviously needed, some apples, and the best thing ever, birch wood. Day 21, I made a ton of fences, lured some sheep in so I'd have constant wool supply, then I noticed there was a battle tower in front of my house. Then I got some even more bad news. There was a dragon in front of my house, but luckily it couldn't notice me when I was that far away. While I was here, I managed to grab some XP from the spawners and block some of these holes in so the mobs didn't drop or jump up on me. You know, I always forget to manage for these little hardcore world enders, these baby zombies, and this guy was enchanted too, so it was ruthless. Luckily I managed to kill it. Day 22, I killed some more zombies that were near my house, even this little baby, and then I picked up this silver helmet. This thing was actually pretty good, and then I went right back to the battle tower to break these 2 spawners that I had left from last time. But then I realized I was in a taiga biome, so I got some hyperthermia, so I went back home and decided to just go mining for a little bit. I picked a random location, but I realized there was this gigantic cave which I dropped my torch into and slowly built down towards. Waiting for me was this stupid little creeper, and this guy, every time I hit it, he gave me blindness. Luckily for me, I managed to take it out with my bow, picked up this common crate, and even got some diamonds. Day 23, before some of these ridiculous mobs started spawning, I decided to just get out of there, and right next to my house was another battle tower. I might be crazy, but I actually kinda like these underground battle towers a little more. I probably just haven't cleared enough yet. I then used these blocks to cheese these zombies, and I was able to get a bunch of good hits and some really good levels from these guys. Right now, my biggest issue are these stupid cave spiders, and these guys would always just come up and ruin the fun, and they did so much damage with poison. Day 24, speaking of cave spiders, when I broke it open, another enchanted cave spider decided to attack me. As I was retreating, I was able to take it out, and it dropped an insane bauble, one of the things I actually needed, a bazaar. Now this thing means I have immunity to poison, which is really useful. Since I didn't go home with the mining trip, I had 5 diamonds which I used to make diamond boots and a diamond saber. After that, I leveled up my attack all the way up to level 16 so that I could use this diamond saber. Rest of my levels I put into magic to help with my enchanting later. Day 25, I made an iron tower shield, grabbed some squid ink to make a unique atlas, and I was able to mark my home and some dragon spawn areas. Then while exploring, I found this Myrmex cave, and these guys were super tanky. I spent the rest of this day just slowly walking backwards and trying to kill them. Day 26, I spent this entire day just wandering around, filling the atlas near my house. Then I found this nice little structure where I grabbed a bunch of skeleton skulls, and because it was so hot, I decided to come back home. Day 27 to day 28, I went right back to this battle tower, but first I had to mark it down on my atlas. This skeleton was super strong. One shot of this thing even caused lightning strikes. I had to go right back up and then put the fire out. After I looted the next chest, I went down one more floor, and then it was just back to the same old cheesing the battle towers. I just placed a few slabs and killed every single one of these mobs. This is by far the easiest way to get XP. I just needed some XP to get my magic all the way up to level 12 so I can start enchanting. Day 29 to day 31, I got my magic up to level 12, made some diamond leggings, and used the last few diamonds for an enchantment table. After that, I spent the rest of these days collecting a bunch of bookshelves and leather, more importantly, to max out this enchantment area. Somehow I lost my bow, so I had to make a brand new one, and then when I was harvesting my farm, I got attacked by a spriggan. If I kill too much, I'll have way too much chaotic energy. Day 32, I got scammed. I made a hopper and a barrel so I can cheese this battle tower, but when I went all the way upstairs to break these spawners and fill these holes, I realized there was no battle tower golem and a dragon attacked me, so I couldn't even get the chest either. I was not ready to fight a dragon, so I just healed and ran all the way back home. So I gotta stay away from this guy because I'm pretty sure it'll one-shot me. That is a dragon. So I'm trapped between 2 dragons and a sea serpent. This game is ridiculous. I had to be very careful, so I bolted away from the sea serpent and I found this floating house structure. I then went upstairs and took a bunch of arrows from these traps and was able to take out the wither skeletons that were upstairs. These guys weren't too strong and they dropped something I really needed, a bunch of wither bones. Day 34 to day 36, there was another floating structure right next to the house where I grabbed some ender pearls, and then I went over to this desert pyramid. But before I could even loot anything, I got attacked by this thing called a sylph, and these guys packed a punch, so I had to just get out of there really quick. Across the sea, I fought this gigantic leaf monster looking thing, but it was trapped in the tree, so I was able to take it out really easily. Then I found this really good pair of boots in this graveyard and I tamed a horse. Then this horse and I adventured for a few more days when we stumbled upon this giant structure that I think was called a kingdom. There's probably so much loot in here that I didn't even explore, but the most important thing were the fishermen and the Fletcher, because they buy a ton of string. Right before I decided to trade with the villagers, I went to check out this big tower, and in this tower were a bunch of blocks of lapis that I would need for later. So you guys are witnessing the biggest market collapse of this villager economy. I collected a ton of white wool, I think up to 4 stacks. Then I turned all that wool into string and just started exploiting these trades with the fishermen. And I just kept rinsing and repeating this for 2 days straight, but the best trades I got were from Fletchers, not fishermen. After all of that, I think I ended up with almost 2 stacks of emerald and 42 levels, and then I decided to go home. The journey home was pretty scary because I was trying to avoid the giant sea serpent that was in the waters, but as soon as I got home I was able to make a potion ring. This one gave me some attack speed, so I decided to make some more baubles. First up was this emerald ring. That emerald ring gave me 6% attack damage, and after that I was able to enchant a bunch of books and get these insane stats on my boots. Day 40 to day 45, I got protection 4 on a new set of chest plates. I then made an emerald necklace which gave me one more heart. Then I went traveling to the village one more time, but this time it was to collect a bunch of strings, not for emeralds but a ton of arrows. Almost every single villager in this kingdom was basically maxed out, so I had to go to a brand new village to trade a bunch of strings, and it took me a long time to get back home. I then upgraded my quiver so I could store even more arrows. Then I started enchanting my saber, which I got lifesteal on, and got these stacked diamond leggings. Then this happened.
Ah! Sharknado! Jaws are coming for you!
Yup, my first mob event, and these were floating sharks that were just coming towards me. Luckily I had a shelter to stay in, and I just began enchanting a bunch of stuff, and once they stopped spawning, I was able to take a few of them out and make a switch bow, which I got power 4 on. Day 46, at this point I had no idea that this structure was super OP. I just thought it was another giant battle tower. I tried to take these guys out, but these mobs did not stop spawning. I mean, there were infinite amounts of these guys, but my lifesteal kept me alive for the most part, and I was able to just slowly block these mobs off and take them out. You know, no matter how many times these guys almost ruin my armor, it's always kind of worth it, because killing these zombies, I got a ton of heart crystals, which I turned into a heart container. I had to make another diamond chestplate and enchant that, but another heart was kind of worth it. That night I also killed this trumpet skeleton, which dropped a pickaxe with the enchantment diamonds everywhere. And just by mining coal, I was able to get enough diamonds to make a helmet, enchant that bad boy, and make a diamond strengthened longbow. After that I put the rest of my experience into agility so I could use this bow. Day 50 to day 53, I found this really weird desert village which was next to a snowy taiga. I also picked up this thing called an oak crate, which is like a mini shulker box. Then I went over to check this battle tower out. In the beginning it was kind of easy. I made a little hole and I took out these tiny little zombies, but when I actually started getting the real hits in this farm, I noticed some of these zombies had a sticky ability, so they just started taking all of my diamond weapons, and then this happened. Turns out a blighted zombie broke through this with his gas ball, but the worst part was, one of these stupid zombies has my lifesteal diamond saber. Luckily I managed to kill it after running away, and I was able to get one of the best baubles in the game. So this bauble gives you infinite oxygen and better swimming. I then went right back to the battle tower, broke this spawner, and killed this zombie which had my diamond saber. Now it was time to take down this battle tower. I always make sure to place slabs down so the zombies can't reach me, but the same thing doesn't really work for spiders. For spiders you have to use upside down stairs. I did that, killed a ton of spiders, and finally started getting to the really good loot. You know, now that I don't have to take poison damage, these spiders are actually really easy to take out. I also took out a bunch more skeletons, and I checked out one of these chests which was stacked. I then leveled up my mining so I can use this diamond pickaxe and just took down this final floor, but I didn't go any lower since I didn't want to fight the tower golem. Right after that, I was able to make a brand new heart container, and just like last time, every single piece of my armor was almost broken. But before I went home, I went back to the giant village to collect a ton of books. As soon as I got home, it was time to make a new bauble. I made this potion ring of speed, which now gave me permanent speed, and I had to remake my diamond armor and enchant my diamond bow. I also made a diamond shield, and then I got a bunch of good enchantments. I actually ended up better than I was. I then went right back to the terrible battle tower in front of my house to grind a bunch of levels, and after that, I was able to get efficiency 4 on my diamond pickaxe and education 2 on my diamond saber. Day 58 to day 62, a lot of things happened. I found out the guys that were poisoning me in the beginning were these things called cockatrices. Then I went right back to the first battle tower I ever saw in this world, and for some reason these guys were really strong. There were a ton of mobs, even some of these blighted dudes too, but luckily with lifesteal, I was able to take a bunch of these dudes out and make it pretty deep into this battle tower. And of course, after fighting a bunch of these mobs that had the sticky ability, they kept taking my diamond tools and broke all of my diamond armor once again, but I was able to make a brand new heart container and get another heart. Then on the way home, I equipped my Stone of the Sea bauble, and now this is my favorite way to travel in this entire game. You're so fast underwater. Now that I was actually strong, it was really time to take down a dragon, so I put sharpness on my sword, got protection 3 and protection 4 on basically all of my armor, and then I went to the village to stock up on a ton of arrows. I also killed these siren for the shiny scales later. Day 63 to day 64, I decided to aggro the dragon, but this one fire breath kind of reminded me it was still really strong. So I decided to stay pretty far away and I was able to get it to land. As soon as it landed, I equipped my Stone of the Sea bauble and just 2 more shots and I think this dragon suffocated and my arrow managed to kill this thing. Then it was time to harvest the dragon. I managed to get 2 bottles of fire dragon blood and collect every single scale and bone this level 3 dragon had. Then I made a dragon scale chestplate and dragon scale leggings. I would need to get to level 24, so I went back down to a battle tower and just started grinding a ton of levels and putting all that XP into my defense. You know, I hope I'm not the only one. Now that I'm a lot stronger, these battle towers are actually really fun to go into. There's so many mobs, you get so much XP and loot, and I was able to get my defense up to level 24 and make another heart container. Day 65 to day 67, so I've been marking a bunch of dragon spots and I went to fight another dragon. This was a green fire dragon and this guy, for some reason, was a lot stronger than the other dragon I fought. I'm still confused because this dragon was the same level 3 dragon as the last one, but this guy was way more aggressive. Luckily for me, there was a river right next to me, and with my Stone of the Sea bauble, once I got into water, I was basically super speed. I only had 74 arrows left, and after sleeping, I managed to take this dragon out. I didn't even realize I killed it because I was trying to dodge its attack. This guy was super OP, I mean it was really hard to take this thing out, but I managed to grab a ton of dragon scales and some dragon bones. I only had 58 arrows left, but I decided to also take down this sea serpent that was right next to the desert pyramid. And by some miracle, I was able to take this guy out with just a few arrows. I then picked up the sea serpent scale and it was time to head back home. Day 68 to day 69, it was time for huge equipment upgrades. I made a bunch of dragon scale armor and some Tide Guardian armor mixed in with it. I also started redoing my baubles and got a bunch of really good health improving enchantments. Some of those baubles made me faster, some of them gave me more heart, but ones like this moderate quiver got me undying, which was by far the best one. I also wasted a bunch of diamonds on the stupid shield. I got this crazy helmet, protection 4, respiration 3, unbreaking 3, aquafinity, and it's lucky. I don't know what that means, but it's lucky. Right after that, I combined 2 Tide Guardian boots together and decided to check out one of these towers. But this place, for some reason, just spawned infinite amounts of indicators, so I had to just go away. But that XP was really needed because I needed to get to level 24 so I can use this flame dragonbone sword. Day 75 to day 79, first this happened.
Winged venom! Acid rain!
I guess it was time for another mob event, and these guys are really strong and weird looking, but what was worse was the hyperthermia. I had to find a warm biome to sleep in because I would not be able to sleep with the damage. Because it was so cold right near my base, after exploring this ocean structure, I just spent these entire few days just chilling around very warm biomes. But when I was near the snowy taiga, I was able to upgrade my attack to level 24 and use my new flame dragonbone sword. For the next few days, I just wandered around these ruined battle towers and this sandstone battle tower. Luckily for me, I had enough armor to take these guys out pretty easily. Speaking of armor, it broke again, but like last time, I also had a bunch of heart crystals to make a heart container. I then came back home, combined 2 dragonbone swords together, and remade my Tide Guardian gear. Right after that, I made 4 golden apples, an empty dragon canteen, and made my way up to this floating water structure. Killing all those mobs, I was able to make 1 more heart container. Right after that, I then went back to the giant village to stock up on arrows. While I was trading with these villagers, a blood moon happened, so I had to just defend this village from a bunch of mobs. During that blood moon, I killed these things called wargs, then these chupacabras, and whatever this really gross looking thing was. With all those levels, I was able to enchant my new pickaxe and finally deck out my 3rd set of Tide Guardian armor. Day 84 to day 85, I got lured in by a bunch of sirens which I managed to kill and pick up the shiny scales, then I took down the Cyclops in its own den. I also managed to take down this hippogriff and I fought this blighted witch who managed to drop a ton of XP. Day 86 to day 88, while looking for librarians, I only found cartographers, but along the way I grabbed some grapes and I even took down like 24 blocks of gold. And as soon as I found a librarian, with my luck, it turned out this guy's trades suck. Later that night, I found a dragon carcass. I harvested everything I could, and in the morning, I realized there was a huge dragon duel happening. I had hypothermia, so I had to just go away real quick. After healing, I went to check out the battlefield when I realized the ice dragon destroyed this fire dragon. Even though the ice dragon got a surprise attack on me, I managed to pick up all the pieces of the fire dragon and take it all the way back home. Then once again, I made some brand new dragon skill armor and I enchanted it with some really good enchantments, especially that strength and vitality one. Day 91, while setting up my nether portal, I had this happen.
Tsunami! Brave the storm!
Yep, it was another mob event, but these guys were all water-based creatures. They were pretty easy to take out. The most annoying thing was they would give you like wait for and paralysis, so you couldn't move for a little bit. Once they stopped spawning, I managed to kill so many of them, I got a brand new knowledge rank. They also dropped a bunch of gunpowder and glowstone, so they'll be really useful for potions later. Speaking of potions, I went to the nether to collect a bunch of netherwort and bone mushroom spores. I made sure not to stay too far away because the nether is like a big dungeon by itself. Once I came home, I used the bone mushroom spores and the dragon heart to make potions of mending. Day 92 to day 95, I learned what luck does and I just decided to drink my potion and find brand new chunks, but along the way I found another red fire dragon. I managed to do a lot of damage with my bow alone, but as soon as I got to the water, I was able to not take any damage from the dragon's fire breath. Then it was easy to take it out, collect some dragon blood and some dragon scales. I then used all my cooked maca meat to make these things called bulwark burgers. So with these absorption hearts, it was time to take on an underground dungeon. Now this dungeon was really scary. There was like every single type of mobs I could find. A bunch of wargs, hundreds of zombies, and the worst of them all, some spriggans. As you start getting deeper, there was even more and more different looking mobs, a bunch of darklings, those cenopods, some more chupacabras, and basically these things called ants which are just walking trees. I then drank my potion of mending, went back upstairs to kill a bunch of macas for maca meat, and then I put 23 levels into my iron skin passive. After that, it was right back to a battle tower where I could upgrade my farming all the way to like level 19. Day 96 to day 98, it was time for the wine production, and oh my god, these things take forever to produce. I also got this Totem of Undying, I think I forgot to show you guys, but I drank one of my wine which was pretty poor quality and I got nausea for like 4 minutes. So with the poor wine, I wasn't really able to use the wine to take on this 4-tower battle tower. In the last 2 days, I drank my potion of mending, my potion of strength, and my bulwark burger plus my paleo salad to see if I could take down this 4-tower battle tower. At first, before the mobs really started spawning, it was really easy for me to get to the 3rd level. Then the witches started throwing bombs at me, and also a bunch of wither skeletons and vindicators started jumping in too. If things couldn't get worse, one of these witches gave me the spinning effect, so I basically couldn't control where I looked for like 40 seconds. After healing outside, I went right back up to the 3rd floor where I took down this diamond armor zombie, and as if things couldn't get worse, there were now Vexes also attacking me. I guess just to make your life harder, they even gave wither skeletons diamond axes, so I had to retreat one last time and finish my last few potions. Then this was basically the final straw. One of these blighted reapers gave me fear too, and while I was eating my golden apple, I got attacked by a wither. So I decided to just call it quits for this battle tower. There's still so much left for me to do in 200 days, but for now it was time to just rest. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and comment that you want 200 days. But for now, if you want another adventure, check out this video right here. Thank you so much for watching.